Yeah, that's right. No t-shirt tonight, but I'm proud to announce that we work with our partners at Activision, who are going to bring back the original Crash, Crash 2, and Crash Warped, fully remastered from the ground up for PlayStation 4.
Wow. Holy shit. I did not expect that. Sony did it. They did it. They announced Crash is coming back. I watched this live. It was about 3 o'clock in the morning for us in the UK, and I wish I recorded my reactions to it because I was nearly on the point of tears, which is kind of sad, but hey, it's Crash, what can I say? So in my previous video, I mentioned about expectations and hype and not to get too invested in the conference and just to take it how it is and just to not expect anything of sorts. And I have to admit, it was hard not to go into the conference without thinking of Crash, honestly, at least for me. And it was, heavily teased and rumoured all this time. And yeah, I mean, that video was just a way to tell people just not to get too excited for things, and yeah, it sort of paid off because we've got what we wanted. If I was overly hyped about it and knew for a fact Crash was coming back, this announcement probably wouldn't have been that as impactful as it was, because I went in without thinking Crash is going to be remade or anything. I didn't think anything of the sort. I was expecting Skylanders, but that was about it. But yeah, all 3 original Crash games, Crash 1, Crash 2, Cortex Strikes Back, and Crash 3 Warped, remastered from the ground up on PS4. I did not expect that. I don't think anyone was expecting that, really. All 3 games. I think people were expecting the first game as like a reimagining, similar to how they did it with Ratchet and Clank, but all 3 games? Interesting. It's very interesting. So we had no footage, screenshots, logos, anything of the sort. We just had the announcement that was said that it's being made. It's been, it's coming back. Crash Bandicoot's coming back. Sony's working with Activision to bring back Crash, and I couldn't be happier. I really couldn't be. Obviously, I would like to see something. Of course I would. I was expecting a trailer, but then Force Awakens, the Lego game, came after it, which was a bit weird. But I guess that's me being a bit greedy. But saying that, on the other hand, I feel like there's a thing at the minute where people just think Crash was just in Skylanders. And for the people who didn't watch the conferences, it was just they just watched the trailers that come out on YouTube or something. And there's no trailer for the new HD collection, or what you want to call the new games, the remasters. It's just Skylanders. So people just thought, oh, it's Skylanders, it's Crash, that's it, Crash is dead. Which is not true. It's literally said before that it's not. It's coming back. All 3 games have been remade. That needs to be. I feel like Sony needed to be a bit more clear about that, and I feel like they should have had perhaps a separate video on YouTube saying that, or at least a screenshot of sorts. So now I want to talk about my actual experiences when they announced Crash, because they are fresh on the mind. It was only it was about 20 hours ago now or something. I can't tell time. Well, basically, it was kind of funny because when when it started happening, the tunes started to appear, the Crash theme, and people were looking around, and then you see audience members of them going looking around well, is that Crash? And then you see the beach, Insanity Beach. This seems to be the only new screenshot of the game, of the Crash reboot of sorts. This looks like Insanity Beach, And then of course he walks out, and he's got the Crash Bandicoot shadow, which is a really cool effect. It's a really good way to, you know, reveal that. And yeah, and during the time when that was happening, I had my hands on my head, and I was just there like going, they've done it. They actually did it. And at that moment, I was like, yeah, that's it. I knew it wasn't just Skylanders, because they wouldn't do that for Skylanders. They wouldn't have. I mean, they might have, but in my head, I knew that was something else but Skylanders. But speaking of Skylanders, I have to say a little bit about it. Like, Skylanders is a game that I've never been interested in. I've always held a kind of a grudge against it because of what it did to Spyro. You know, the same way that, you know, the Rabbids did to Rayman in a way, before Rayman came back. Like, destroyed his look and aesthetic and ruined his franchise and chances of being in a new game. And I thought that was going to happen to Crash. I thought, that's it, Crash is dead, you know, in the water in this new game. But I think if it was just Skylanders in the event, it would have been awful. But the remakes did make it a lot better. But yeah, the actual look of Crash himself in Skylanders, he doesn't look bad. Like, I actually like the model. It looks like the original Crash Bandicoot, just, you know, brought to the modern day. You know, he's got a lot of fur, and he looks and sounds like Crash. And yeah, they haven't, like, I mean, Spyro looked like a disaster. So Crash could have looked worse. Like, he could have been like a, you know, Mind of a Mutant style shit. But no, it's just classic Crash. And I don't have a problem with it. I don't have a problem with it now, really. Yeah, the upsides are it will introduce kids to Crash Bandicoot. You know, it will give Crash, you know, back in the limelight a bit, and, you know, help spread awareness about the new game and the old games, for that matter, if you want to play the older games. So it's not inherently bad, but it would have been if it was just Skylanders. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think if Spyro came out with the same thing and then they did a Spyro remake or a Spyro new game before Skylanders, I think people would have no problems with Skylanders whatsoever. I don't think so, anyway. I mean, I don't know. I've not really played much of Skylanders. I've only played a little bit of it, and they are kids' games, and they're not particularly the best games in the world. And a lot of people have grudges against them, but you know, that's the way it is. So yeah, that's sort of my, like, rambling bit about the Crash remakes coming out. Of course, I'll be doing update videos on all of the new stuff that will come out for this game. So yeah, so if you want to see more Crash related content, please subscribe if you haven't already. And yeah, I'll see you later, guys. I'm gonna go to bed because I've had approximately about 1 hour's sleep. So yeah, thanks Sony for your late conferences for the UK. All right, goodbye.